Hello again. Let's get you the latest coming out of KwaZulu-Natal. 2 bodies of Cato Crest residents who were swept away by floods this week have been identified this morning. Karinda Jagmohan is in the area where residents are picking up the pieces and rebuilding their homes, and they're seeking much needed assistance with perishable items. Karinda, these discoveries come as search and rescue operations are continuing there.
Certainly, it's the latest news that the councillor has received this morning. Of course, we know the death toll officially is at 7, but this could rise given the latest developments. Let's just quickly talk to the councillor. Sir, you've gotten a call this morning that the families who were missing loved ones have identified their bodies today.
Out of these 4 bodies that we earlier on that we were discussing about, only 2 has now been identified. And the family now is actually identified clearly, which is their families, through a detective officer of Cato Crest police station. Now we can say out of these 4, 2 has been identified.
And then, councillor, just also a quick question. We are trying to reach out to the powers that be in the municipality or provincial government to come and offer some assistance to the residents here.
This is what our mayor, Honorable Your Worship, Babu Police Kaunda, tomorrow is coming to see this area, to view it. He actually fully aware. He's been so supportive in most challenges that we have faced since Tuesday till to date. So tomorrow, I'm convinced that he is coming here just to see and to give hope to the people that the city is going to assist.
Certainly. Councillor, thank you so much for your time and for being with us today as well. Councillor Musa Klamini is the PR councillor for this Ward 101, Cato Crest, and he's also just been with us as we survey the damage. And Dudu, as I just look around, I mean, I'm seeing clothing items, pieces of furniture, cables as well, this corrugated iron that, you know, residents used to build on mattresses. And what's happened is that those items that were destroyed and cannot be recovered is being burnt in this fire here. So that's the fire you might be seeing around Durban, or the smoke is from this fire here. But the informal structures that were built by this corrugated iron have been completely destroyed here, at least the few that were, not few if I may say, dozens that were just in this line here. This, where I'm standing now, is where the water was gushing through. The water collects at the water collects at an industrial site further up this area, and so what happens is when there's torrential rain, that water overflows, and this is usually a stream, but then it gushes down into essentially a river going into the catchment area that you saw there. Another issue that is blatant for you to see is that the residents who live here, they live in poverty. This is an impoverished area. Many people have traveled here from across the country to build here because the Durban CBD is just nearby, and it's a matter of getting job opportunities. But there is, of course, an issue of housing, the housing crisis that possibly adds to the residents' plight, because their only choice was to build their informal structures here in this area, and this is the site where the flood water came through. Just yesterday we were at the President's Imbizo in Ladysmith, where we spoke to some residents, and we also spoke to the Human Settlements Minister there, and she did explain that one of the big issues in terms of resolving the housing crisis, particularly in eThekwini, is the fact that there's no land available, or the land that is available is not necessarily suitable to build houses on because they lie on floodplains. Of course, this is a coastal city, so there's a major issue of flooding here, particularly because of the weather that we experience on a daily basis. And so this is the state still. Remember, the storm happened on Tuesday afternoon. Going into the night, there was that tornado in Inanda, but that wasn't the only place impacted here. Cato Crest, you see the damage around me. Areas of Sastry Park around Inanda, Sydney, we were there the other day as well. All of these areas affected just once again by that torrential rain that fell overnight. And although it's sunny today, I mean, just around me, the residents they have small fires to cook their meals on because their gas stoves were also destroyed by the flood. So they are appealing for the authorities within the municipality to come through, assist them with perishable items especially. And while this happens, there are families that are looking for their loved ones. At least 6 people still missing. 2 bodies have been identified now, and so that means the death toll might rise. But I'll give you a full update later in the day.
Sure. Karinda, as you report on some of their immediate needs, have we seen some local NGOs coming to the area to offer that much needed assistance?
Yes, in parts of Durban there have been NGOs operating. In Sydenham, actually a community very nearby, there is a local organization that does soup kitchens every week, and what they did is they changed that now to flood recovery. They started during the unrest, and what they're doing is just collecting items. So for people who want to essentially assist, there are various NGOs like the one in Sydenham. We've seen one here as well that they can reach out to offer to donate blankets, clothing, some cooking equipment at least, or perishable items, just to help the residents that are struggling today to get back on their feet. There are many children around here as well. Gift of the Givers, the most prominent of all, have been on the ground as well, especially in Enanda, where houses were destroyed by that tornado or land spout, as it's referred to by the weather service. But of course, there can never be enough help for residents, especially just considering the situation that they were already living in. So certainly there's a plea from the community, not just for authorities to help, but really South Africa as a whole.
Absolutely. Karinda Jagmohan, thank you very much for that report.